So I find it like a funny coincidence that flamingos, being the most feminine looking birds, also achieve their glamorous look through makeup. We all know that flamingos are pink, but they actually achieve that pink color using a trick. Now, which trick is this? So this trick emerges from their environment. The African flamingos live in Rift Valley lakes, and these are lakes like Lake Nakuru, Lake Elementaita, Lake Bogoria, and Lake Natron. And all these lakes have one thing in common. They are hot, they are salty, they are alkaline, and they are very harsh for most animals and plants. Especially during the dry season, these lakes become shallow, depleted of water, and their salinity and alkalinity increases. Yet, also being shallow, it means that the sun rays penetrate all the way to the bottom of the lake. Despite all these, also these lakes sit on volcanic hotbeds. So they sit on high level of volcanic activities, and that makes them also boil from the bottom. Famously, Lake Bogoria has hot springs that can even be used to boil eggs. So, the few plants and animals that survive there have to come up with tricks that will make it possible for them to survive there. Having said all that, you may ask yourself, which are these animals that survive there? It seems like a very harsh and inhospitable environment. So, the smaller animals that live there include bacteria called cyanobacteria or halobacteria, and plants also, microscopic plants like algae, also invertebrates like brine shrimp, and bigger vertebrates like now the flamingos. So the halobacteria, the cyanobacteria, and the algae will create a molecule called carotenoid, which is a group of molecules that are pigmented from reddish all the way to pinkish to orangish. So the most common carotenoid that we are exposed to commonly is carrots, and that is where the term carotenoid comes from. So that is the pigment that makes the carrots orange. So these organisms will accumulate this molecule called carotenoid to help them survive this harsh environment. So carotenoids have two very good qualities. So the first quality that carotenoids have is their UV resistance. So they protect these organisms against the UV light. So it's like a sunscreen of some sort. And the second quality that these carotenoids have is that they protect the organisms against damage by alkaline environment and salty environment. So they have antioxidant characteristics. The bigger animals, and that is the brine shrimp which the flamingos eat, and the flamingos themselves cannot produce these molecules. So what do? They acquire them through eating these smaller organisms. So the brine shrimp will eat the bacteria and the algae, and then the flamingos will eat the brine shrimp. Flamingos also will eat the algae through a type of feeding called filter feeding. And in the process, they absorb these carotenoids that these smaller organisms have produced. So because the flamingos tap into the food chain at these Rift Valley lakes, which contain organisms that have a lot of pink pigmentation in their system, then it means that these flamingos will bioaccumulate that pink pigment, and they store those pink pigments mostly in the feathers, making their plumage look bright pink. But in reality, their bodies cannot create the pink pigment, and they get it exclusively through diet. So if flamingos stop eating the brine shrimp and the algae at these Rift Valley lakes all of a sudden, then it means that they will stop being pink. They will turn into boring gray like other aquatic birds from freshwater lakes, e.g. the ducks and the geese. So I find it like a funny coincidence that flamingos, being the most feminine looking birds, also achieve their glamorous look through makeup. Now you know about how flamingos get their glam. Thank you.